long before civilization, before the first words, before even the idea of control, there was darkness, a world where the sun was the only light, and when it fell beyond the horizon, shadows ruled the earth. For early humans, fragile, shivering, and hunted, the night was not peaceful, it was terror. Every sunset meant another battle for survival. The forest came alive with eyes that glowed, predators moving in silence. The air turned cold, the ground unforgiving. They had no warmth to protect their bodies, no light to push back the unknown. They huddled together, trembling under the canopy of ancient trees, their hearts pounding to the rhythm of a primal fear. In those endless nights, humans were prey. Their world was limited to the sun. When it rose, they thrived. When it was set, they disappeared. But nature had already hidden within it a force, waiting to be discovered. A force that would flip the order of power on Earth. A force that would take humanity out of the shadows forever. That force was fire. It began with chaos. Lightning, fierce and sudden, ripped through storm clouds, striking the ancient forests. In a flash of blinding light, dry trees exploded into flame. For the first time, the forest burned. Smoke rose like ghosts into the sky. Animals fled in panic. The ground crackled. The air hissed with heat. And from the edge of the forest, early humans watched. They didn't understand it, but they felt it. The light was beautiful. The heat was alive. The sound was terrifying. To them, this wasn't just a natural event. It was a living god, a creature that ate everything yet gave off warmth, a monster that destroyed yet glowed with beauty. Nature had shown them fire before, through volcanic eruptions, molten lava, and rare strikes of lightning. But this time, something was different. This time, they watched closely. This was the first spark that caught their attention and planted a question in their minds: could this thing be tamed? At first, no one dared to approach. The flames danced wildly, consuming trees, soil, and everything that touched them. The air shimmered with heat. Smoke stung their eyes and filled their lungs. They had never seen destruction like this. Beneath the fear, there was fascination. They saw how fire scared off lions and wolves, how it made night look like day, how the warmth reached their skin even from a distance. Some fled. Others stayed and watched for hours, unable to look away. The flickering light burned an image into their minds that would never fade. When the flames finally died, only ash and smoke remained, but the world smelled strange, earthy, burnt, yet somehow alive. And scattered among the ashes were the first clues: warm stones, cooked roots, and roasted meat from animals that couldn't escape. The smell of cooked food awakened something primal in them. It was the smell of energy, of nourishment, of possibility. And though they didn't know it yet, this curiosity would change the fate of their species. Days later, when the storm had passed and the smoke thinned, a small group approached the charred forest. The fire had burned out, but here and there, tiny embers still glowed. They crept closer. One reached out with a stick. The stick caught a faint red glow. When they lifted it, the flame flickered alive again, orange, bright, breathing. They didn't know it yet, but this was history's first controlled fire, not created, but taken. At first, they feared it. They dropped it, screamed, ran back, only to return moments later drawn to its warmth. They realized that as long as they kept it alive, the night couldn't hurt them. Predators stayed away. The cold faded, and for the first time, they slept without fear. That night, under a blanket of stars, humanity found its first guardian. The flame danced before them, a wild, unpredictable, alive, yet under their watch. And in that fragile glow, they discovered something deeper than survival. They discovered control. Keeping fire alive became sacred. They couldn't make it yet, so they carried it from tree to cave, from one camp to another. Some used hollowed-out bones or shells to shield embers from rain. Others buried hot coals in ash to keep them burning through the night. If the fire went out, despair followed. They would have to wait for another storm, another lightning strike, to gift them the flames again. Fire became more than warmth. It became a symbol of life itself. Every spark was a heartbeat, every flame a sign of hope. They learned that dry wood fed it, that blowing gently brought it back to life, that too much wind could kill it. Through trial and error, they became its caretakers. Fire, once feared as a god, became their companion, and in return, it began to reshape them, physically, mentally, and spiritually. The world of humans would never be cold again. Generations passed, humans evolved, curiosity deepened. One day, someone struck two stones together, flint and pyrite, and saw a spark. It was small, quick, and almost invisible, but it was there. They tried again and again, until finally that spark kissed a dry leaf. Smoke curled upward, then a flicker, then fire. The impossible had become real. They no longer needed the sky's anger to light their world. They could make fire themselves. From that day on, humanity stepped into a new age, the age of mastery. This was technology, before the word even existed. The friction of wood, the strike of stone, tools born not of survival alone, but of imagination. The spark was no longer an accident. It was human will made visible. Fire had chosen its keeper. What happened next was nothing short of evolution on fire. Cooking food changed everything. Raw meat demanded energy to digest. Fire made it soft, releasing more nutrients, more fat, more power. The human jaw shrank. Teeth became smaller, but the brain grew larger. Fire gave us calories, warmth, safety, and time. With cooked food, early humans could hunt less and think more. They used that extra energy to invent tools, create language, and imagine things that didn't yet exist. Fire literally rewired the human species. Our muscles weakened, but our minds ignited. The body adapted to a world where heat was no longer the enemy, but an ally. Evolution began to favor those who could control the flame, and soon, fire wasn't just a tool. It became part of our biology, the heat that powered our progress. Night was no longer a time of fear. It became a time of wonder. Around the campfire, humans began to speak, to share, to imagine. The flickering light painted shadows on cave walls, shadows that danced, inspired, and told stories. Here, language was born. Here, memory and myth came alive. The fire became a mirror for the human mind, unpredictable, creative, endlessly changing. As flames rose, so did imagination. Stories turned into lessons, lessons turned into culture, and from the glow of the fire pit, humanity built its first kind of civilization, a civilization of thought. Fire united tribes, strengthened bonds, and gave humans something no other creature had: the ability to dream together. The power of fire extended beyond survival. It became a weapon, a tool of dominance. Humans used it to shape the land, hunt animals, and forge the first weapons. They burned forests to clear land for growth. They learned that heat could bend metal, harden clay, and forge stone into sharper blades. Fire turned caves into homes, and homes into villages. It turned survival into progress, and progress into conquest. The balance of nature shifted. No longer the hunted, humans became the masters of fire, and with it, the masters of earth. But fire had two faces. The same flame that cooked their meals could also destroy their world. They learned awe, but they also learned responsibility. From this duality, civilization was born, a balance between creation and destruction. From that first lightning strike to the fires of today, everything began with a spark. The torches of ancient temples, the hearths of homes, the forges of blacksmiths, the engines that burn fuel, the rockets that ignite the sky. All are echoes of that first flame discovered millions of years ago. Fire built our world and still powers it. It lights our cities, drives our machines, and fuels our dreams. But beyond the science, fire represents something greater: the human spirit, our endless hunger to create, to control, to understand. It is the symbol of transformation, from fear to mastery, from darkness to discovery. The first fire was not just a moment in time, it was the awakening of humanity. The moment we stopped fearing nature and started shaping it. Even now, in every spark of innovation, in every light that pierces the dark, the same ancient story burns within us. The story of a creature that found fire, and in doing so, found itself. If you felt that spark, don't let it fade. Subscribe to No Chill Nature for more stories of how we became who we are.